And we're live. Welcome back, Northreach, to another episode of The Chopping Block. As always, I'm your host, Hars, and with me is Vex.
Hi.
And today's guest we got with us is the Kingdom Champion of Northreach. Welcome, Grimm.
Hello.
How's it going, Grimm?
It's going all right. How are you?
Doing all right. As we're recording this now, this is just the week after SenchiCon, and I'm doing pretty okay.
Yeah, I heard SenchiCon was pretty popular this year, actually.
Yeah, we got some crazy big names. Well, I guess crazy by convention standard names. Like, we ended up getting the voice of Spike from Cowboy Bebop and the Major from Ghost in the Shell. So, it was some cool people. Really nice, too.
Your cosplay was pretty cool, too.
Thank you. So we were talking a bit about this before the episode started, but I've sort of aptly named from previous episodes where, like, people who are watching the other episodes, watching this one, know that usually after the main questions that we get from our guests are done, I just kind of let Vex go off her hinges. I decided I'm officially dubbing that Vex's lightning round. And since we didn't get as many as we normally do, I think we'll probably be giving her a little bit more,
leeway.
Okay, that was impressive. You guys both did that at the same time. Alright.
That's how we do.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Well, I guess with that, then, we can just get right into it. Alright, so this first one we got is from Lachlan, and that is, in the game of Cards Against Humanity, I guess the Northreach version, what would your white card be?
Well, I've actually thought about that for a little while, and the couple that I came up with were not friendly.
It's okay. Just at this point, just show it. I mean, I asked the our previous guests on this in the exact same question thread, and it's just fun watching the answers they gave.
Daniel Radcliffe's delicious asshole.
Okay, well, there's one. I'm not cutting that one out, just to make sure that is known.
Yeah, that's by far my favorite card. But aside from that, I haven't played in a while, so I don't really remember very many other ones.
Hold on.
I do like though.
Hold on, are we going through here? Because I think the mic got disconnected for a second there.
No, your audio just cut out.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, sorry, Vex. You want to continue with that?
Oh, yeah. Did you hear the story where Daniel Radcliffe was actually presented that card to sign as an autograph?
Yeah, he signed it and gave the guy a high five.
Yeah, like, apparently he was super excited. He was just like, I've been waiting for so long for someone to ask me to sign one of these cards.
Dude, I would frame it.
Oh, at that point, I would too. I would frame that whole moment if I could. Alright, so this next one we got is from Malik, and that is, how did you get your persona name?
Okay, so, you remember whenever we were in the AT&T Sports Complex?
Yeah.
So I had started in February, and it was I started whenever we were over in the basketball courts, whenever we were doing jugging, and we only had enough people for 2 teams. And we would just do jugging once every time we met. Whenever we switched over to the turf, Doug was signing me in, and I was over putting that black and green armor, the nipple ring armor on.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Back whenever they had greaves, they have since disappeared. I'm not exactly sure where they are. I'm pretty sure Doug still has them. But I was putting those on, and he yelled at me, and he was like, "Hey, you've been here for 3 weeks. What's your persona name?" And I just yelled out Grimm with 2 M's. And he was like, "Wow, that was really specific," and he wrote it down, and that's how I got my name.
I mean, honestly, that's probably one of the least weird things I've heard for how people have gotten their names. So
yeah, it's better than Shop Time with Goran. Whenever you come up with all kinds of weird names, like Kanan. His first persona name was Queedle. So
Queedle? I don't remember that.
No, because it was never publicized. He just came over to the shop and he was just like, I need a persona name. And he's just like, Queedle.
God, I swear I've heard that name before. I just can't for the life of me remember. I think I heard it like...
We'd shout it out to get him riled up.
Oh. Okay, yeah. I guess, that actually sounds a little familiar.
So, yeah, I mean, there wasn't any, like, think tank session or anything having to do with that. It was just, like, a spur-of-the-moment, off-the-tongue thing.
All right, here she is. Oh, sorry.
All right, so I have a bit of a disclaimer. My older brother is here because, curiosity and video games and such. Mm-hmm. And across the street from my house and slightly to the left, one of my neighbors has a brown bear taxidermied in his window. And
it's fucking huge.
It's really big. Like even when you're sitting on the street looking at his house, the size of the bear doesn't fit in the window, and
you can't even see its head.
And he goes, it barely fits, and he gets real quiet for a second. I'm just sitting there grinning at him like,
Okay, I really hope we come up with a better title than that, because if we don't find anything better to call this episode, I'm calling it Barely Fits, and we don't need 2 consecutive bear puns in our episodes.
So many different ways.
Alright, the next question comes from Ray, and she asks, why isn't your name Wiggly?
Because I already had a name, thank you very much. If it comes to a title, I'll take it, but I was dubbed that by a friend of hers, because apparently whenever I fight, I get wiggly. And, I mean, if they caught me whenever I was a little newer at Amtgard, maybe, I guess. I mean, yeah, but I already had a name, thanks.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know what kind of answer I was expecting, but yeah, that sounds about right.
The Wiggly Grimm.
Like, something, I'd be down with that. The Baron of Wiggly.
I swear, I think Ray's just trying to make a goal of asking this kind of question for every episode now.
Mm-hmm.
How many Grimms could make a smiling man grim if a smiling man could be grim?
4.
Okay, that was enlightening.
Actually, I've been thinking for a little while about how to answer that question, and it would take approximately that many. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there you go. There you go, Ray. Hope that answers your question.
How many did she ask? 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yep.
Okay. Ray question number 3. What makes you grim? What makes you not grim?
Swinging stick and not swinging stick.
I like how brutally simple these answers are.
Well, I mean, they're brutally simple questions. Like,
Yeah.
what grim? I mean, you want to go into like the psychological effects of what it's like to be
It would
me?
be him. It would be the other person. Would be Grimm.
Is it like just is it like a Highlander thing? Like just you die and then you pass your power on to the next person?
No, I don't die.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, I mean, that doesn't really answer my question, because you'll never know then.
Dun 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 dun.
Okay, well, this one looks like her serious question, and that is, what is your favorite thing about being an office, and what is the hardest thing? And do you have any advice to future officers?
My favorite thing is also the hardest thing, and that's knowing what your job is and being able to translate that to other people. Like, as it sits right now, I have to know every other park's champion's job. I got to know what they're doing, and I have to like kind of roll all of that around and make sure that they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, and I have to do things that they don't need to do, if that makes any sense. But aside from that, the only other hard thing is being able to keep track of everything that you need to do.
So basically it's just sort of a management thing that's the hard part?
That's what Kingdom officers do. They
There you
manage
go.
and don't get me wrong. It's mildly frustrating and sometimes it can be pretty hard. But I mean, whenever you implement a suggestion and you see it across 5 parks, it's kind of cool to see. I mean, I guess it's just a point of pride, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, it must be awesome being the first Kingdom champion.
Feel the power.
You've been really wiggly, Vex. Are you okay?
Energy drink.
Oh. Thanks.
Must have been that comment.
The power of Wiggly. It consumes us all.
That's the episode name.
The power of Wiggly?
Yes.
And to answer the third part of that question, any advice for future officers? I would say know what job you're getting into first, because I kind of didn't. I went from being a field officer to basically being a logistics manager, I suppose, and it's a little different. It's not nearly the same as being somebody that's there controlling things at the park. And I kind of had to lean pretty heavily on my other officers to have them teach me, help me learn, and kind of guide me in the right direction. But aside from that, it's not even really that difficult whenever you really put down to bones.
Yeah, this seems to come up in like almost every episode, but communication is pretty much an officer's best tool that I seem to have noticed.
Communication is everybody's best tool.
Pretty much, yeah.
The next question is from Abram. What are your top 5 favorite memes?
Pork, beef. I really like chicken. Veal, and I don't have a favorite, really.
You don't have an appreciation for the dank ass memes?
I have very, very fond appreciation, but I don't pick favorites because, well, it's not fair to the other ones.
Yeah, okay, I can understand that then. Alright, well, this next one we got from Abram is also from Abram, and that is, if you get banned one day, what would it be for?
I like that question.
Probably cussing.
Yeah, I guess that could be a thing that happens.
Well, that depends on where. I mean, I've let 1 or 2 F-bombs fly at like events or something where we're around a lot of other like non-Amtgard personnel, and they just kind of like looked at me weird, and I was like, oopie.
Like angry parents wanting to speak to the manager kind of thing, or...
Yeah, and there's like, yeah, I am the manager.
Oh, well. How the turns have tabled.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I really don't. I really haven't thought about that at all. Actually, I didn't even see that question, so it's kind of left field a little bit.
Yeah, it was on the Lupin Moon page.
I mean, I don't really know. Like, I would hope it wouldn't be for like misconduct or breaking the rules or like over-aggression or something like that. I do know that if you remember Becca, the Vexicus ovarian barbarian, she'd get a little bit bloodlusty, I guess, and just not take shots.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've actually had to train out of, because I won't feel something and someone would be like, hey, did you not feel this shot? And it's like, no. Did you hit me? Like, yeah, I did. Oh, oops. My bad. And then I'd take the shot. But I mean, aside from that, I don't know. I don't like to think about getting banned because that doesn't sound like very much fun.
Yeah, I guess it's really not.
That would be unbearable. Worth it for die. Perfect.
Yep. That's just gonna be our episode. Unbearable.
The Wiggly Bear.
Wiggly Bear. Okay, we'll compromise.
A 3/5 compromise?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this next one we got is from Karina, and that is, what's your favorite weapon combo and your favorite type of battle game?
My favorite kind of battle game is one where I get to go around and swing a mid-sized stick of some sort of fiberglass at somebody, preferably covered in foam. That would be my favorite kind of battle game.
Preferably, he says.
Yes. Yeah, preferably, because, safety first.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Fair and balanced.
I don't know. I like certain combo battle games like Capture the Flag or Caravan, and then like a kill objective. Just because it gives like you don't have to win by, or well, let me rephrase that. You don't have to do the objective to win. You just have to guard the objective. You know what I mean? But I guess multifaceted battle games that match, because you definitely don't want like a capture the flag or carry heavy object or something along that. You want two that match together.
Right.
And my favorite weapon combo is single short, actually.
Huh.
Everything except like pole arms and daggers, because daggers is just boxing.
Yeah.
Favorite weapon combo: single short and the bird.
Yup, that's
There we go.
But everything, like every other weapon combo, derives from using a single short, and that even for unique weapons to a certain extent, like Deli's sickle.
The deli sickle. I'm gonna remember that.
Honestly, whenever I first saw that thing, the very first thing that I thought of was Freakazoid.
Yeah. God, Freakazoid. That's a show I haven't seen in close to a decade now.
That's because it hasn't been on in that long.
Yeah. Look, I'm just saying, if we're getting Tiny Toons and Animaniacs on Netflix, why can't we get Freakazoid?
Because it was mildly offensive, that's why.
So was Ren and Stimpy, but they're still releasing DVDs of that.
Well, yeah, that's because Ren and Stimpy was a lot more popular than Freakazoid.
Yeah, okay, I guess you got me there.
Which I don't really get, because
I think
Freakazoid was my spirit animal whenever I was a child.
I think you mean that more people knew about Ren and Stimpy, because I remember, I think I've only seen 3 episodes when I was a little kid, but I remember all of them incredibly vividly.
I actually, the very first time that I saw a Ren and Stimpy episode was at a hotel, and I don't even remember where it was specifically. But it was in this little podunk BFE town, and my oldest brother had a wrestling meet there, and it was the first time that we were allowed to eat as much cereal as we wanted to. Damn it! And they were all in those little single serve packages, and we would me and Aaron and Anna, my older brother but not the oldest brother, and my older sister, we'd grab 3 of them and dump them into a big ass bowl. Stupid little itty bitty tiny plastic spoons, and we'd sit there and eat it and take half an hour. And it just so happens that Ren and Stimpy was on in the breakfast area, and Mom couldn't turn it off, so we got to watch Ren and Stimpy while we were eating breakfast.
That's awesome.
I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, The one I saw was like, I guess they were selling. I don't remember why they were doing this, but they were selling like, it was like nipple protectors or something. And they just go up to this one guy who's like a horse, and he goes, "Oh no, I don't have a use for a nipple holder protectors. I'll tell you what though, have you got any rubber walrus protectors?" And it's just this walrus looks completely horrified, and he's like, "Call the police." Like that particular moment, like that's like engraved into my psyche, and I don't know why.
And you know the origins of Hars.
Yeah. A horse and a walrus had a steamy love affair, and that is how Hars was conceived.
Oh. No, actually, that was a pretty traumatic trip for me, because that was also the very first time that I was introduced to warheads.
Oh.
Was the blue one.
Oh, jeez.
And I think I had to have been like six or seven.
Oh my god. That is not an age you want to be eating warheads.
He's only 4.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll give you that.
Sorry, according to him, he's 4 and 1.
Good to know, Lucas. Good to know.
Well, that was awkward.
Oh yeah, we got a little sidetracked there, but it was a fun trip. It was a fun trip.
Call the police.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have some trouble sleeping tonight, just resurfacing that little memory.
It's okay.
Okay. We have one more question from Abram. And he writes, "I know fighting is important to you like it is to me. So now I ask this because I ask myself what I could do different in most fights I get in. If you had to redo one fight against anyone at any point in time, what fight would it be? When was it? And why?"
Okay. So, once again, it was actually on the turf at the AT&T Sports Complex, and we were doing a capture the flag battle, and you didn't have to actually capture. You had to. It was those old flags, the ones that were like partially courtesy padded, but the camp pad was so beat down that it was just a PVC stick with some foam on the end of it and a flag sticking out from it. We had to put it in the base, because we had those 2 little like foam bases, and you'd shove the flag into it and it would be captured. And I was guarding the base, and there was a guy that was coming to steal our flag, and it was like right towards the end of the game. Their flag was on the way back this way, and I turned to get him, and we had a newer player. He kind of swung a little wildly and clocked me in the back of the head. I kind of lost my mind a little bit, and even after the kind of whacked him a few times. And I can honestly say that that's the only engagement that I've ever had any regrets about, because it was unnecessary and it was childish. But I did end up apologizing to him. I went outside, took like a little 10-minute break, calmed down a little bit, and it definitely wasn't as bad as it could have gotten, but it was worse than what I wanted my reputation to be at that point. So if I could do it over, I would not do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't really have any fights that I would want to do over. I would just want to do more of, Like, I would definitely like to fight with Sane some more. I learned a lot from him. I'd like to fight with Anatole a lot more, because of Anatole.
Yeah, it's Anatole. I get it.
I mean, I don't feel like I have any fights that I would really want to do over, because every fight that I or every engagement, like every meaningful engagement that I get into, I fight over 1,000 times in my head.
Yeah, what was that saying? It was like you learn 1 lesson in victory and 1,000 in defeat or something.
Sure. Let's go with that.
I was gonna say if that's the angle you're going, then I get it.
Not really. That was actually that habit was started by Sir Guy, actually. He was the one that showed me what to look for. Excuse me. He kind of outlined what he does after an engagement, and it gets to the point where you do a series of somewhere around the neighborhood of 30 engagements in your head in a matter of seconds. And, what did I do wrong? What did they do? What caused this? How did I do this? Who won? Who lost? That kind of stuff. And it's really interesting whenever you get down to it. But you really, whenever you're first starting it, you really got to break it down. And I don't know. It gets easier once you start doing it more. But yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're back, Vex, because we just got through the given questions, so now it's time for your favorite part of the show, and that is Vex's lightning rounds.
Okay.
So, like I said, this is pretty much where I just kind of let Vex go off her hinges and just kind of let her do whatever she wants here. So, Vex, have at it.
I have some stupid questions, but I've got some more interesting ones first. So, you are one of the only people in our population who's been to SKBC, right?
At my recollection, I believe there's been like 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
But yeah.
So really small amount of people.
Yeah, per populace, yes.
Mm-hmm. So what was it like?
Exhausting. It was really hot. It was really hot. If anybody else was to go, I would say train for the region. And because by the second day, my rib cage was sore just from breathing.
Oh yeah, you were in Texas, weren't you?
No, I was in Utah.
Oh.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Why? Nothing happens in Utah.
SKBC happens in Utah.
You guys are really on point with this here.
I don't. It was a lot of fun. I learned so much there, and I guess, like, if I was to give anybody advice about going to SKBC, my first piece would just say to go. Just go. And my second one would be ask somebody who's been what classes you should take first. Because I was all like, oh yeah, I totally got the basics of single short. Yeah, totally. And I was wrong. I was very, very wrong.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know there was more than one classes. I thought it was just kind of like a more extreme version of like the class we got by Serranatol or Shion or Sane.
Oh no, dude. Oh no. Every single sword knight. Well, no, that's not a fair statement. They actually have a list of classes, and they do fill up.
Damn.
And the list is pretty. It's pretty substantial. I mean, it's got things ranging from the basics of single short. It's got tourney fu. There was one called Footwork 101. There was one called Footwork 0.5. There
what
was
that
one
like?
called. I don't know. I didn't go to it. I went one. There was one called Fakes and Baits. There was body mechanics and how to apply them. There just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking with Minnie on one of our episodes about just like the general principles of like stick fighting and all that.
Mhm.
It's just, you never think that so much goes into something that seems like so little.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally put 40 hours into one specific aspect and only reach like a fraction of where you want to be,
Mhm.
and that's just by like Northreach standards, you know. I mean, if you want to look at it, I mean, look at the way that Goran fights. Like, he's not a super energetic person, but he's still like the top fighter in Blackwater. How does he do it? He does it by, shot creation, shot generation, conservation of motion, and body mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't wear himself out by swinging a sword around. It's not he doesn't use his weapon like a club. It's just an extension of his arm,
Mhm.
and that takes a lot of practice. Does that answer your question, Vex?
Yeah. Guess.
Okay, so on a branch for that, on the last day, right before people started leaving and stuff like, well, not right before, but the night before, I guess, because the day that people started leaving, we had a little session. Well, not a session, I guess. It was everybody that was able to went down to the bar just to kind of hang out. And we were on post, so it was an on-post bar, and we had special privileges and all that kind of stuff, and it was really cool. And I had this local brew, and it was called Devastator Double Bock.
What?
Yeah.
You can't just stop there. Go on.
I had 2 of them, and now and then I was talking to random people, like people I didn't even know. I was like, "Hi, who are you?" Yeah.
It sounds like me at most like Northreach events. Not gonna lie.
Oh no, dude! How friendly and social butterfly you are, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, you and I are kind of alike on that aspect, but this was like people that you didn't even see throughout the weekend. Like, I was like, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you were, but hi, what are you doing? And it was a beer, dude. It was beer. It was like 13%.
I've never heard of a beer that does that to somebody.
Oh, that was just the mood I was in, man. It didn't have anything to do with the alcohol. It was just the mood.
Ah, okay, that's fair.
Meeting a whole bunch of new people, and all of a sudden your inhibitions go away. I mean, what would you do?
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. It's probably what I'd do.
So that's one of my fun stories. No, you don't get to hear the rest of them.
Oh.
Aw.
No, I mean, I had a good time. I was really, really sore. I had forgotten my gloves, so I had to get ones, and I got some wide receiver gloves actually, and those helped me out a lot because I sweated a lot. I actually have a tunic that was made specifically for that trip, and it has permanent salt stains on it. Like, I haven't. That trip was the. It was the first time that I got to use my medium shield, and it had a new strap and handle on it. And I'm under the impression that the only reason why it's as flexible and supple as it is because of how much sweat went into it. It literally had gallons running down my arm onto that. It was ridiculous. Like, I was drinking like gallons in a day. It was ridiculous.
It sounds pretty ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even really that hot. It was only in the 90s or something like that. It was really, really humid, and it was man. And you're moving around, and in between classes, in between class sessions, there was ditching all the time. There was always ditching, and then there was more ditching, and then ditching, and then more ditching, and then wait, there's a class there. Shit, I missed. Okay. Go to classes, okay, and then you swing stick in a class for an hour and a half, and then you do some more ditching, and then after that you do more ditching, and then maybe throwing a meal there occasionally, and then more ditching. So
that's what you mean by permanent salt stains.
yeah, dude, it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of moving. Oh my god, there's a lot of moving.
What's the best type of cheese, Grimm?
Colby Jack.
I don't know. Hars, you voted for
I voted for provolone.
Provolone.
It's not provolone. That's like lasagna. No, I like provolone as long as it's melted.
Oh
on
yeah,
a burger.
totally.
But if
If
I'm
we're
gonna, if I
talking,
take a slice of cheese off of a brick of cheese and eat it just like that, it will be Colby Jack.
for me, yeah, I understand the melted provolone thing, but if I had to choose one that wasn't like that, I would probably say mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
I guess it's just my Italian side. Mi spiacente, cara mia.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of that fancy schmancy. Take a hunk of brie and wrap it up in pastry dough and bake it and dump some jam on top.
Yo.
Mana mana mana.
Well, the bad part is you can count how many types of cheese I like on one of my hands. So
Next question. What kind of cult would you like to start?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
yeah, run that by.
Oh, run that by you again?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of cult would you like to start?
Is it the Church of the Holy High Cross?
You mean no, Jack? You remember what it was?
Wait a minute. Wait, I feel like I should remember this.
You should, because that's whenever the we started. That was right after that was whenever we started talking about the Shrek theme.
Right. The cult of was it like the cult of Blackwater or something?
Oh, Holy High Cross and
man.
Blessed Dark Side of Antioch.
Right. Okay.
That's the cult that I want to take. That I want to start. The cult of the Holy High Cross.
Okay, so I guess I have sort of a story to add to this, and so Solstice Wars, this most recent one, I learned that there are two kinds of sword knights. So we had Peter the Quick, and I can't remember who the other one was.
Monkey.
No, it wasn't Sir Monkey. This was the year after that.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to remember. But like, I think it was. I want to say it was Ty that was asking, "Can you teach me the power of the Holy High Cross?" And it was the other guy that said, "No, there is no Holy High Cross. I will teach you no such thing." And then, like, as he's walking away, Peter the Quick goes up to me and he goes, "I'll teach you the power of the Holy High Cross." So.
Exactly right.
So what I learned is there's two kinds of sword knights: the ones who believe in the Holy High Cross and the heretics.
Pretty sure you said hairy dicks.
I don't take responsibility for that. Well, no. In that sense, you would have to say that there's three, because then you'd have those two, and then you'd have the kind that proclaim about the mighty dragon.
Oh yeah, I guess that'd be where. I guess that'd be where Goldcrest and Sane fall under too.
Yeah, well, Sane is not a heretic. He really is not.
Well, no, I totally get that. I mean, I was just talking about the dragon thing because I remember a dungeon crawl like Goldcrest and Sane had that whole big cult of the dragon thing going on.
Yeah. Actually, I just watched a video not too long ago that had his entire speech in it, and I was laughing so hard.
Dude, I miss Goldcrest. He needs to come back up here.
I just want to fight both of them again, because watching the different styles is just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Although, like, every time I look at Sir Goldcrest's, like, garb, I just, like, feel mine just start to deteriorate away from like just the presence of his excellency.
In the shining of his radiance, your threads just start to unravel.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Okay,
Like
since
we're doing
you've met Peter the Quit, right?
Yeah.
What is his insignia?
His insignia. It's the same one that Sane has. It's like.
No,
Wait, no, not Sane.
His personal insignia.
Oh. I actually
Like,
don't
you
know.
how, like got the howling wolf with the moon and shit.
Mm-hmm.
What's Peter's?
I actually don't know.
It's a freaking weasel, man.
Oh.
That was hilarious whenever I found out what it was, because it's hidden in his garb. Like, look at his garb. It's hidden.
I don't-
It's hidden. At least I think it's a weasel. It's either a weasel or a ferret. One of the two. One of those slinky ninja bastards. The wiggly, sort of like bear-like tiny creature.
Speaking of slinky bastards, you are very good whenever we do questing at playing a monster. I think it's a role you enjoy a little bit.
Thanks.
So, would you like to share your favorite monster memory if you have one?
I've got a couple, actually. One of them Jack made a clip of.
Oh, yeah.
I forget what kind of monster I was playing. I can't remember if it was like an orc type. Yeah, I was playing like an ogre or something, because that was right before I busted my pole arm. I had all kinds of paint on my face, and I had this weird costume style thing, some PT pants and friggin' sneakers, like running. And I kind of found a tree, and it was leaning over the path that the questers had to go under. And I waited until they went under, and I dropped down and killed them.
Yeah, I remember, like, I was doing, like, sort of a crocodile hunter video with you.
Yeah. Here's like these cricket stuff in the background. He's like, "Here you see the native, Grimm. A native tree, Grimm. You can only spot them once in a while."
And if you listen carefully, you can hear the call of its people. And you're just doing, like, this maniacal laughter out in the distance.
I believe that's. Aside from that, I have a really good memory of. I was playing a shaman's assistant, and the shaman was actually Valen.
Oh, yeah.
He was. I was running a Florentine, and he just had a pole arm, and he was playing a 6th level druid, and he had a couple of other things. And he would like keep everybody like he would either make everybody stop. Sorry, my brother's going psycho. He would make everybody stop. He would either freeze them or get them to do something or another. He'd make them run away by like dispelling all their stuff or doing one thing or another, being Valen, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would look at me and he'd go sick him, and I'd just be like,
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
And it was a wonderful time. But the best part about being Monster is the challenge behind it and the constant fighting. Like, you do not get a break. And you gotta constantly think about scaling. You gotta constantly think about like the the skill level of the people that you're going up against and how many there are, and you have to adjust your own abilities so that you make it fun for them. And that's what.
Were you trying to say something? You kept cutting out there.
No, that was Aaron making a comment.
Oh.
I didn't want us to hear it.
Well, I think that's as good a spot as any to stop on, so for all you watching at home, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and Grimm, thank you for being on our show. This is fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Alright, so with that, thank you all, once again, thank you all for watching. Tune in next episode where we'll be giving some Froco a bit of love, as we'll be interviewing their local monarch, Blue. Until then, I'm Hars, this is Vex, and you've been watching The Chopping Block.
Good night. Love
Later.
you, Grim.
Bye!